Everything happens for a reason. A Buddhist perspective on life. Introduction. The power of perspective. Imagine if every experience, joyful or painful, had a deeper meaning. What if nothing happened by chance? According to Buddhism, life unfolds with purpose, even when we fail to see it. When we shift our perspective from resistance to acceptance, from fear to understanding, we begin to see that life's challenges are not obstacles but stepping stones toward growth. In this journey, we will explore how Buddhist philosophy teaches us that everything happens for a reason. By understanding impermanence, karma, and mindfulness, we can navigate life's uncertainties with greater wisdom and inner peace. Chapter 1. The Law of Impermanence, Embracing Change. One of the most profound and liberating teachings in Buddhism is Anicca. The Law of Impermanence. It reminds us that nothing in life is permanent. Everything is in a state of constant change. The seasons shift from spring to winter. Emotions rise and fall like ocean waves. Relationships evolve, and even our own bodies are never the same from one moment to the next. Yet, despite knowing this truth, we often struggle with change. We hold on to happiness, hoping it will last forever. And we resist pain, wishing it would disappear instantly. But life, much like a flowing river, does not stop for anyone. The more we fight against its current, the more suffering we create for ourselves. Why do we struggle with impermanence? Our suffering arises from attachment, the desire to cling to things, people, or experiences as if they were permanent. Think about the last time you had a joyful moment, a beautiful sunset, a heartfelt conversation, or even a delicious meal. Did you wish it could last forever? And when it inevitably ended, did you feel a sense of loss? This is the human tendency, to want to grasp what is pleasant and reject what is unpleasant. But what if, instead of resisting impermanence, we embraced it? What if we saw change not as something to fear, but as the very essence of life? A story of acceptance, the falling leaf. There's a well-known Zen story that beautifully illustrates this point. A student once approached his master in great distress after losing a precious possession. With a heavy heart, he said, "Master, I cannot accept this loss. It pains me deeply." The master, without a word, picked up a dry leaf from the ground. He held it for a moment, then let it fall. Watching it drift down, he asked the student, "Do you mourn the falling of a leaf?" The student, confused, replied, "No, master, leaves fall naturally with the seasons." The master nodded and smiled. "Then why mourn something that, like the leaf, was never meant to be permanent?" In that moment, the student understood. He realized that suffering comes not from change itself, but from our resistance to it. Examples in daily life. This wisdom is not just philosophical, it applies to our everyday experiences. When a child grows up and moves away, parents may feel sorrow, but is this not the natural cycle of life? When we age and see wrinkles in the mirror, should we despair, or embrace the beauty of having lived? When a relationship ends, should we see it as a failure, or as a chapter that has fulfilled its purpose? Everything, whether joyful or painful, has its time. Trying to hold on to what must pass is like grasping at the wind, it only causes frustration. Embracing impermanence, a personal reflection. I often remind myself of this teaching whenever I face unexpected change. There have been times in my life when I resisted letting go, whether it was a friendship that naturally faded, an opportunity that didn't work out, or even the simple realization that a perfect moment would not last forever. But each time I softened my grip, I found freedom. Instead of saying, "I wish this wouldn't end," I learned to say, "I'm grateful I experienced this at all." Instead of asking, "Why did this have to change?" I now ask, "What new possibilities does this bring?" Chapter 2. The Law of Karma. Every action has a consequence. Nothing in life happens by mere coincidence. Every thought we think, every word we speak, and every action we take sends ripples into the universe. This is the law of karma. A principle as precise and inevitable as gravity. Simply put, what we sow, we reap. When we act with kindness, patience, and wisdom, we plant seeds of positivity that will return to us in some form. On the other hand, actions rooted in negativity, such as greed, anger, or deception, will inevitably bring challenges and suffering. Understanding karma. More than just good or bad. Many people misunderstand karma as a simple system of reward and punishment. But it is far more profound than that. Karma is not some external force judging us. It is a natural law of cause and effect. Just as dropping a stone in a pond creates ripples, our actions and even our thoughts send waves into the world that eventually return to us. Think of it this way: if you smile at a stranger, they might feel warmth and kindness, and perhaps they will pass that kindness on to someone else. On the other hand, if you lash out in anger, that energy can spread, leading to more negativity in return, whether or not we immediately see the effects. Every action shapes our future. Planting seeds for the future. A powerful way to understand karma is to see it as planting seeds. Imagine a farmer who carefully plants apple seeds. He knows that the trees will not grow overnight, but he trusts that with time, effort, and the right conditions, the seeds will bear fruit. Our thoughts, words, and deeds are like seeds. Some sprout immediately, while others take years, or even lifetimes, to mature. But just because we do not see instant results does not mean our efforts are wasted. Example 1. The kind stranger. Imagine a young man who, every day on his way to work, buys an extra meal and gives it to a homeless person. He does not expect anything in return, he simply wants to help. One day, years later, he loses his job and finds himself struggling. Just when he feels hopeless, an unexpected job offer comes from someone he once helped, or perhaps through an act of kindness he inspired in someone else. Though he may not have realized it at the time, his generosity planted seeds of goodwill that eventually returned to him. Example 2. The unseen consequences of dishonesty. Consider a businessperson who cheats his customers for quick profit. At first, he may seem successful, his wealth grows, and he enjoys a comfortable life. However, over time, his reputation suffers, people stop trusting him, and he may face unexpected financial losses. Even if the downfall does not come immediately, the seeds of dishonesty were planted, and eventually, they bear bitter fruit. Why do good people suffer while some who do wrong seem to thrive? One of the biggest challenges people have with karma is the apparent injustice in life. We often ask, why do good people suffer while selfish or dishonest individuals seem to succeed? Buddhism teaches that karma unfolds over lifetimes. Just as some plants take longer to grow than others, some karmic effects do not ripen immediately. The difficulties we face today may be the result of past actions, even ones we do not remember from this lifetime. Similarly, those who seem to get away with wrongdoing may still face consequences in ways they do not anticipate, whether in this life or the next. But karma is not fate. It does not mean we are trapped by our past. Rather, every moment gives us an opportunity to create new karma and transform our destiny. Just because we have planted certain seeds in the past does not mean we cannot start planting better ones today. The power of intentions. Karma is not just about what we do, it is also about why we do it. Our intentions shape the energy we put into the world. Example 3. The two givers. Imagine two people giving money to charity. The first person donates generously, but only because he wants public recognition. The second person gives a small amount, but from a heart full of compassion, expecting nothing in return. Even though their actions look the same on the outside, the karmic energy they generate is very different. The first person's action is tainted by ego, while the second person's action carries true generosity. This is why Buddhism emphasizes purifying our intentions. If we act with selfish motives, the energy we create is different from when we act with sincerity and kindness. Applying karma in daily life. The law of karma is not just a philosophical concept, it is something we can use every day. Here are some ways to cultivate positive karma. 1. Practice kindness without expectation. Do good not because you want a reward, but because it is the right thing to do. 2. Be mindful of your thoughts. Even thoughts create energy. Try to replace negative thinking with compassion and gratitude. 3. Take responsibility. If something negative happens, instead of blaming fate, ask yourself what lessons you can learn and how you can improve your actions. 4. Forgive and let go. Holding on to anger and resentment only creates more suffering. By letting go, you free yourself from negative cycles. Chapter 3. Attachment and suffering, learning to let go. Why do we suffer? This is a question that has puzzled humanity for centuries. Buddhism teaches that at the heart of suffering lies attachment, our tendency to cling to people, possessions, emotions, and even ideas, believing that they will bring us lasting happiness. However, because everything in life is impermanent, attachment inevitably leads to suffering. We grasp at relationships, fearing loss. We chase after material success, believing it will bring security. We even cling to past experiences, unwilling to accept change. But the harder we hold on, the more pain we create for ourselves. True happiness does not come from possessing, but from learning to let go. The illusion of control. We often believe that we can control life, that if we try hard enough, we can make things stay the way we want. But reality does not work this way. Everything changes. People grow and change, sometimes drifting apart. Wealth and status can disappear in an instant. Even our bodies are constantly aging, whether we accept it or not. This does not mean that we should not love or cherish what we have. It means we should love without clinging. Instead of grasping tightly out of fear, we can learn to appreciate things fully in the present moment, knowing that change is a natural part of life. A love without chains. Many people believe that love and attachment are the same, but they are actually quite different. Attachment is possessive. It says, "You belong to me, you must always be with me." Love, in its purest form, says, "I cherish you as you are. I wish for your happiness, even if it means letting you go." Example 1. The butterfly in your hand. Imagine holding a butterfly in your hands. If you squeeze too tightly, fearing it will fly away, you will harm it. But if you open your hands, allowing it the freedom to come and go, it may choose to stay with you for longer. Love works the same way. When we try to control another person, we create fear and resistance. But when we love without attachment, we allow the relationship to grow naturally. Attachment to material things. We live in a world that encourages attachment to material possessions. Society tells us that happiness comes from having more money, a bigger house, the latest gadgets. But how much is enough? A person who is constantly chasing wealth may never feel satisfied, because attachment creates endless craving. Even after reaching a goal, the mind says, "I need more." Example 2. The man who had everything but felt empty. There was once a successful businessman who owned luxury cars, expensive homes, and a thriving company. But despite his wealth, he felt an unshakable emptiness. One day, he met a Buddhist monk and asked, "Why am I still unhappy, even though I have everything?" The monk smiled and replied, "Because you do not own your possessions own you." The businessman realized that his happiness was tied to things that could be lost at any moment. This attachment kept him in a cycle of fear and dissatisfaction. When he started focusing on gratitude and generosity instead of accumulation, he finally found peace. Attachment to emotions and beliefs. We do not only cling to people and things, we also cling to emotions and beliefs. We hold on to anger, replaying past hurts in our minds. We refuse to forgive because we believe we are right. We attach our identity to certain ideas and struggle when challenged. But when we cling to emotions, we give them power over us. The more we hold on to anger, the more it consumes us. The more we refuse to change our perspective, the more we suffer when life does not align with our expectations. Example 3. The cup of hot tea. A teacher once told a student who was struggling with anger, "Holding on to anger is like holding a cup of hot tea for someone else. You are the one who gets burned." By learning to let go, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Forgiveness, openness, and acceptance are all ways to release attachment. How letting go brings true freedom. When we learn to let go, we do not lose anything, we gain peace. Letting go of control allows life to unfold naturally. Letting go of expectations frees us from disappointment. Letting go of the past makes space for new possibilities. This does not mean we should not care or make an effort. It simply means we should live with an open heart, rather than a clenched fist. Instead of fearing loss, we can cherish the present. Instead of demanding things stay the same, we can welcome change, practicing non-attachment in daily life. Here are some simple ways to cultivate non-attachment. 1. Appreciate without clinging. Enjoy what you have in the present moment, knowing that nothing lasts forever. 2. Accept change, instead of resisting. Learn to flow with the natural cycles of life. 3. Detach from outcomes, do your best, but let go of rigid expectations. 4. Give freely. The more we share, the more we realize that happiness does not come from hoarding, but from generosity. 5. Observe your emotions. When you feel attachment rising, pause and ask, am I holding on to this out of fear? Chapter 4. The wisdom of acceptance, flowing with life. Life rarely unfolds the way we expect. We work hard toward a goal, only to face setbacks. We love deeply, yet relationships change. Just when we think we have everything figured out, something unexpected happens. And when things do not go our way, our first reaction is often resistance. We tell ourselves, this shouldn't be happening, or life is so unfair. But the more we resist reality, the more suffering we create. True peace comes not from controlling life, but from accepting it as it is. Acceptance does not mean passivity or giving up. It means learning to flow with life rather than fight against it. The story of the farmer and his horse. One of the best illustrations of acceptance comes from an old Zen story. A wise farmer lived in a small village. One day, his only horse ran away. The villagers came and said, "What bad luck." The farmer simply replied, "Who knows if it's good or bad?" A few days later, the horse returned, bringing several wild horses with it. The villagers now exclaimed, "What great fortune!" Again, the farmer said, "Who knows if it's good or bad?" Later, while trying to tame one of the wild horses, the farmer's son fell and broke his leg. The villagers sympathized. "How unfortunate." The farmer remained calm and replied, "Who knows if it's good or bad?" A few weeks later, war broke out, and all young men in the village were drafted. Because of his broken leg, the farmer's son was spared. What initially seemed like misfortune turned out to be a hidden blessing. This story reminds us that we do not always see the bigger picture. Events we perceive as bad might later bring unexpected benefits. Conversely, what seems like good fortune can sometimes lead to challenges. Instead of labeling every situation as good or bad, we can choose to trust the flow of life. Why do we struggle with acceptance? Our suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our attachment to how things should be. We expect stability, but life is uncertain. We expect fairness, but the world does not always operate on our terms. We expect people to act a certain way, but they have their own paths. When reality does not match our expectations, we feel frustrated, disappointed, or even angry. But instead of resisting what is, we can ask ourselves, can I find peace in this moment, even if it's not what I wanted? Lessons in acceptance. 1. Acceptance does not mean giving up. Some people think that accepting a situation means doing nothing about it. But acceptance does not mean inaction. It means responding wisely rather than reacting emotionally. For example, if you lose your job, acceptance does not mean sitting at home hopelessly. It means acknowledging the situation, processing your emotions, and then looking for new opportunities. If a relationship ends, acceptance does not mean suppressing your pain. It means allowing yourself to grieve, learning from the experience, and opening yourself to future happiness. Acceptance allows us to see situations clearly and make better decisions instead of acting out of frustration or denial. 2. Resistance creates suffering. Imagine you are caught in a strong river current. If you struggle and fight against the flow, you will only exhaust yourself. But if you relax and move with the current, you will find it easier to navigate. Life works the same way. The more we resist what is happening, the more we suffer. But when we accept reality, we find the clarity to move forward. Example: 2 friends lose their jobs on the same day. One spends weeks in anger, complaining about the unfairness of life. The other quickly accepts the situation and starts exploring new opportunities. Who do you think will move on faster and find new success? The one who accepts reality and takes action. 3. Trust that everything happens for a reason. There is a saying, sometimes, when things are falling apart, they are actually falling into place. Many of life's challenges are blessings in disguise. Losing a job might lead you to a career you truly love. A failed relationship might prepare you for a deeper, more meaningful connection. A personal hardship might teach you strength and resilience you never knew you had. We do not always see the purpose behind difficult moments, but if we look back, we often realize that challenges helped shape us in powerful ways. Practical ways to cultivate acceptance. 1. Pause before reacting. When something unexpected happens, instead of reacting immediately with frustration, take a deep breath and say, "This is the situation. How can I respond wisely?" 2. Shift your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" 3. Let go of the need for control. Recognize that some things are beyond your control. Focus on what you can change, and release what you cannot. 4. Practice gratitude, even in difficult times. There is always something to be grateful for. Shifting your focus to gratitude helps you accept what is, rather than resist what is not. 5. Trust the bigger picture. Life is full of unexpected twists. What seems like an ending might actually be a new beginning. Chapter 5. Finding meaning in adversity. Pain is something we instinctively avoid. We see suffering as an enemy, something unfair and unnecessary. But what if suffering is not just an obstacle, but also a teacher? Difficult times push us beyond our comfort zones, force us to look inward, and help us build resilience. Without challenges, we remain stagnant. Without adversity, we never truly grow. Life's struggles are not here to break us but to shape us into stronger, wiser, and more compassionate beings. The key is not to resist hardship but to find meaning within it. The struggle of the butterfly. One of the most powerful metaphors for growth through adversity comes from nature. A man once found a butterfly struggling to emerge from its cocoon. He watched as it pushed and twisted, trying to break free. Feeling sorry for the butterfly, he decided to help. He gently cut open the cocoon to release it. However, when the butterfly emerged, its wings were weak and underdeveloped. Unable to fly, it soon perished. What the man did not realize was that the butterfly needed the struggle. The effort of breaking through the cocoon forces fluid into the wings, strengthening them for flight. Without the challenge, the butterfly could never reach its full potential. This story reminds us that struggle is necessary for growth. When life puts us in difficult situations, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What is this teaching me?" Adversity is a hidden blessing. Many of life's greatest lessons come wrapped in discomfort. A painful experience today might be the foundation for something extraordinary tomorrow. 1. A failed relationship can teach self-worth. Heartbreak is one of the most painful experiences a person can endure. But every failed relationship teaches us something about ourselves, about love, and about what we truly deserve. Example: a woman who constantly compromised her happiness for her partner may, after a breakup, realize the importance of self-respect and boundaries. That painful experience becomes the stepping stone to finding a more fulfilling, healthy love in the future. 2. A job loss can open new doors. Losing a job can feel devastating. But how many people have later looked back and realized it was the best thing that ever happened to them? Example: a man who worked a high-paying but soul-draining job loses his position. At first, he feels lost, but then he takes it as an opportunity to pursue a passion he had long ignored. Years later, he is more fulfilled than ever, doing work he truly loves. Sometimes, life pushes us out of situations we were too afraid to leave. What seems like a setback might actually be a redirection towards something better. 3. Illness can bring clarity. Facing a health crisis is one of the greatest challenges anyone can experience. But for many, illness brings a deeper appreciation for life. Example: a person diagnosed with a serious illness may begin to cherish every moment, prioritize meaningful relationships, and let go of unnecessary stress. They may find themselves living with more purpose than ever before. Suffering, when embraced with wisdom, has the power to awaken us to what truly matters. Why we must stop asking, "Why me?" When adversity strikes, our natural reaction is to ask, "Why me?" This question comes from a place of victimhood and keeps us stuck in suffering. But when we shift our perspective and ask, "What can I learn from this?" we take back our power. Pain can be our greatest teacher, if we let it be. Every challenge carries a lesson, whether it is strength, patience, humility, or compassion. Instead of seeing difficulties as punishments, we can see them as invitations to grow. How to find meaning in adversity. 1. Shift your perspective. Instead of focusing on the pain, focus on the lesson. Every challenge has something to teach you. 2. Embrace the struggle. Just like the butterfly, we grow stronger through our struggles. Do not rush the process. 3. Practice gratitude, even in hardship. There are things to be grateful for. Finding even small blessings can shift your mindset. 4. Trust the bigger picture. What seems bad today may lead to something better tomorrow. Keep an open heart. 5. Use your pain to help others. The struggles you overcome can inspire and guide others facing similar hardships. Chapter 6. The Power of Mindfulness, Living in the Present. The human mind is rarely still. It constantly drifts, either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. We replay old regrets, reliving mistakes and wondering how things could have been different. Or we anxiously plan for the future, imagining scenarios, hoping for success, and fearing failure. But in doing so, we miss the only moment that truly exists, the present. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing our awareness back to now, to fully experience life as it is unfolding. It is the key to inner peace, clarity, and genuine happiness. The mind's endless wandering. Imagine sitting down to enjoy a cup of tea. Your body is still, but your mind is elsewhere, replaying a difficult conversation from yesterday or worrying about tomorrow's responsibilities. By the time you finish your tea, you barely remember tasting it. This is how most people live, constantly caught in thoughts rather than fully experiencing life. When eating, we scroll through our phones instead of savoring the food. When talking to others, we are already forming responses instead of truly listening. When walking outside, we rush from one place to another without noticing the world around us. We are physically present, but mentally absent. Mindfulness is the practice of returning to the present moment with full awareness. It is learning to experience life as it is happening, without distraction, without judgment. The art of being fully present. Mindfulness is not about doing something special. It is about doing ordinary things with full attention. Examples of mindful living. Eating mindfully. Instead of rushing through meals, notice the flavors, textures, and aromas of your food. Walking mindfully. Feel each step, the sensation of the ground beneath your feet, the rhythm of your breath. Listening mindfully. When someone speaks, give them your full attention, without mentally preparing your response. Breathing mindfully. Take a deep breath and notice how it feels. This simple act can bring you back to the present. Everyday life becomes richer when we slow down and truly engage with each moment. Meditation. Training the mind to be present. A simple yet powerful way to cultivate mindfulness is through meditation. Meditation is not about emptying the mind or achieving some mystical state. It is about training the mind to focus on the present. The easiest form of meditation is breath awareness. 1. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. 2. Focus on your breathing, how the air feels as it enters and exits your nose. 3. If your mind wanders, which it will, gently bring your attention back to your breath. At first, your mind may feel restless, constantly jumping from thought to thought. That is normal. The practice is not about stopping thoughts, but about learning not to be controlled by them. Over time, meditation strengthens mental clarity, emotional balance, and self-awareness. You begin to see thoughts and emotions as passing clouds, temporary, ever-changing, and not something to be attached to. The gift of living in the present. Happiness is often seen as something we must chase, a goal to be reached in the future. I will be happy when I achieve success. I will be at peace when I solve all my problems. I will enjoy life when everything is perfect. But this mindset keeps happiness always out of reach. Mindfulness reveals a deeper truth. Happiness is not something to find, it is something to experience. Right here, right now, when you truly taste your food, feel the warmth of the sun, listen deeply to a friend, or simply breathe with awareness, you realize that joy is already present in each moment. Simple ways to bring mindfulness into daily life. 1. Start your day with awareness, before checking your phone in the morning. Take a deep breath and feel gratitude for a new day. 2. Pause and breathe throughout the day. Take short moments to breathe deeply and refocus. 3. Limit multitasking. Try doing one thing at a time with full attention. 4. Appreciate small moments. Notice the little joys in daily life, the sound of rain, the warmth of a cup of tea, the laughter of a loved one. 5. End your day with reflection before sleeping. Recall 3 moments of your day that brought peace or joy. Conclusion. Creating a meaningful life. Life is a journey of lessons, not accidents. Every experience, whether joyous or painful, carries wisdom. The law of impermanence teaches us to embrace change. Karma reminds us of our power to shape the future. And mindfulness guides us to find peace in the present. By shifting our mindset, we transform suffering into strength, loss into growth, and challenges into opportunities. Instead of resisting life, we can choose to trust its flow. In the end, everything happens for a reason, not to punish us, but to guide us toward a more awakened existence. Let us walk this path with open hearts, embracing each moment as it comes.